I really liked Mrs. Turner. I mean, it's sort of coming up in everything, but so that's a kind of maybe a more obvious choice. But I love the fact that Julianne Moore is I think she's brilliant and sometimes a little underrated. So it's nice to see her nominated for 2 things. I think that's amazing. And Under the Skin, which actually I haven't seen, but it seems to be the film that all of my mates said was just amazing.
Yeah,
so
it was.
I'm glad it's in there.
Yeah, good to know. Yes, I think the Julianne Moore thing's an interesting one. I think, wonderful too. They're 2 very distinct, separate performances, and she puts in an absolutely terrific turn in both of them. So it was great to see them both show up there. Rich, is there anything you wanted to talk us through with regards to how the ceremony is going to work in January?
The ceremony is on the 18th of January, and it will be here in this place. And we're hoping to have quite a few nominees in attendance, and it should be good fun. It's always a really nice black tie event and a bit relaxed. We have just today confirmed that the hosts for the event will be
Alice
Lowe and Steve Oram.
Yeah.
So they're going to be hosting our ceremony.
Yeah, the Sightseers stars. Yeah.
They won the Breakthrough Filmmaker Award for Sightseers for their screenplay.
Yeah,
so
I think they're going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're quite happy to have them coming along because they'll have fun. They'll be a little irreverent.
Definitely. It's going to be a good laugh. Jeremy, were there any names that sort of stood out for you on the list of nominations? Not that we want any favouritism, but any enthusiasms?
I think I'm fully on the Eddie Redmayne bandwagon. I think
Team Redmayne, good.
Yeah, I think both him and Benedict Cumberbatch are 2 of the nicest men working in Hollywood. So especially from the British side of things, and wonderful ambassadors for us British actors working over in Hollywood. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a really tough year, isn't it, in those categories? I mean, you think that actor category is pretty awesome names on there.
Yeah, but also, there's some very brave acting going on. I think that's what impressed me most when I saw The Theory of Everything a couple of weeks ago. Was when you take on a role like that, there's a good chance that, what if it's done in bad taste? And as the actor, you don't have all that much control over that. You've only got your job to watch out for, and if it's done, it's a very risky choice for an actor, which is what I think is very admirable about what Eddie did.
Yeah, paid off, didn't it? Let's talk about what you 2 have been up to. Obviously, you've got The Woman in Black, Angel of Death coming up on the 1st of January, I believe. Tell us, what can we expect? It's 40 years later, isn't it, from the first film?
Correct. It is, yes. I mean, I think it's obviously it's the second film in this sort of franchise, but it's quite a different beast. It feels like less of a chamber piece. It's 40 years later, as you said, and we're now in the Second World War, which is great because the Second World War is sort of scary enough. And you get these 2 teachers, myself and Helen McCrory, who are evacuating children out of London for their own safety, but they sort of end up in maybe one of the most unsafe places you could possibly go to, which is Ilmarsh House. And it all kind of goes wrong from there.
Yes. And you come in and sort of keep them company, maybe save the day, who knows, we'll see.
Be terribly charming and...
the dashing character.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Each of these characters has their own ghosts and their own thing haunting them. And that's what I loved about the script. When I first read it, I felt my agent, I said, look, this movie could stand up as a drama without, if you took all the horror element out of it. And I think that's what makes this such a classy British piece of filmmaking. It's very different from, I think, the way that maybe the US does horror movies. Whereas with this, Susan Hill, who has written the story for this one as well, has written a wonderful drama with really in-depth characters, and then added this horror element into it, which I think gives it a real class.
Yeah, it does stand out very distinctly on its own story. I think you're absolutely right. How do you both feel about British drama? Obviously, you both work in it regularly. Are you sort of happy and positive about the future?
British
film in general.
British films. I feel like with the. I mean, you've only got to look at every year at the awards season. There's another wonderful British movie there, and I think British people bring this wonderful subtlety to movie making, which maybe is a bit of a rarity in South American filmmaking. So, I think we're in good stead.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that you just have to see how many American actors want to work over here.
It's true.
I think yeah, I think subtle is a good word. Maybe there's also less emphasis on stars, I guess, as well, which is nice. It's great for people who are just starting out. You feel maybe have a crack at working in a film, even though you're not a movie star. Yeah, I think it's getting to a really positive place, British filmmaking. Not that it wasn't before, but it's got a sort of worldwide respect now.
Definitely, I agree, and it's something we're very happy to celebrate at the awards.
We have a much heavier overlap this year for British films in our
Yes.
mainstream categories.
That's true.
I think 3 of our best film nominees are British.
Yeah.
3 of our acting nominees. It's
Yeah,
quite,
they're not segregated. They're very much
it's
part of the
quite
whole thing.
heavily
Yeah,
integrated.
it's really good. Well, I'd like to throw it open to you guys. Has anyone got any questions for anyone on stage here about Women in Black 2 or about our awards or anything else even? Go for it.
Jeremy and Phoebe, we've noticed how the British actors are working so much in Hollywood and working around the world in American television, American films. Are you feeling that it's easier that maybe now than it used to be to actually kind of like to get noticed, to get an agent, to get kind of auditions
In America?
in America?
I think that there's I think very much for English men, there's a real sort of draw now. You have people who have broken the mold, and people like Benedict have sort of and Tom Hiddleston maybe have sort of paved the way for a lot of young British actors. Damien Lewis. I think there is this sort of what is the word? I think Americans are quite into Brit men. They're sort of they fancy them. They just want to have sex with them. I think it is easier now.
I'm going to move on.
That sounds horribly arrogant. No, but I think I think we're very much in fashion. I think it's especially with some of these teen franchise movies. It seems like you have to have a British guy in it somewhere, which I'm not complaining about, and it can go on for much longer as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, but it's